Unhoused Students in Schools by Sophia Kambouroglos, Nathan Berger, Benedict Quinn, and Aidan Druecker. According to the National Center for Homeless Education, in the 2020 to 2021 school year, there were 1,099,221 homeless students in the United States. That is 2.2% of all students in schools in the United States. When you think of homelessness, school students don't come to mind. However, the reality is that the majority of people experiencing homelessness are under the age of 18.
Under the McKinney-Vento Act, each state can apply to provide coordination of the education of homeless children. The process is to gather data on the homeless youth and identify the barriers that prevent the homeless students from attending school regularly. States are required to have an approach plan for addressing problems associated with the enrollment, attendance, and success of homeless children in school. Subtitle B of Title VII of the McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act defines homeless as follows. The term homeless children and youths means individuals who lack a fixed, regular, and adequate nighttime residence. It also means children and youth who are sharing the housing of other persons due to housing, economic hardship, or a similar reason. They are living in motels, hotels, trailer parks, camping grounds, emergency or transitional shelters. These children are abandoned in hospitals or are awaiting foster care placement. Children who have a primary nighttime residence that is a public or private place is not designed for or ordinarily used as regular sleeping accommodation for human beings. Children and youths who are living in cars, parks, public spaces, abandoned buildings, substandard housing, bus or train stations, or similar settings. Migratory children who qualify as homeless for the purposes of this subtitle because the children are living in circumstances described in clauses 2, Title X, Part C of the No Child Left Behind Act. In late 1986, legislation containing Title I of the Homeless Person Survival Act, emergency relief provisions for shelter, food, mobile health care, and transitional housing, was introduced as urgent relief for the Homeless Act. After an intensive advocacy campaign, the legislation was passed in 1987, after the death of its chief Republican sponsor, Representative Stuart B. McKinney of Connecticut. The act was renamed the Stuart B. McKinney Homeless Assistance Act. In 2006, a team of local administrators from a suburban upper-middle-class city in the Mountain West conducted a qualitative survey regarding homelessness and high mobility. During those interviews, parents and students indicated an awareness of many homeless families previously unidentified by the district. In essence, the interviews revealed the secret of the world of community homelessness. The interviews also identified a donut hole in high school homelessness. In Colorado, services for homeless high school students were not available for students under the age of 18. This made it very difficult for students who had run away from home or whose parents were not caring for them or providing assistance of any kind. Another major issue that emerged from the interview process was the fear students had of being labeled as homeless. Students reported going out of their way to look clean and act if they were coming from home to school.
Homelessness causes a disruption in a child's education. The impact of family mobility on a student's education is the greatest barrier to school success. Parents and guardians experiencing homelessness often lack adequate current information regarding the rights of their children to attend school. In addition, caretakers who are uncertain about tomorrow and concerned about the basic needs such as food and shelter often do not view the education of their children as a priority. Parents need to know what actions they should take to get the highest quality of support and receive encouragement and guidance needed to enroll and maintain the educational progress of their children in school. Families experiencing a crisis which results in a loss of home and belongings and/or youth living on their own or estranged from their homes often are unable to produce school records. When the response for records is slow or delayed, it results in a barrier for the student and school staff who need to make decisions based on known information. This is especially true for students with special needs. Faxing has facilitated the process, along with telephoning health officials to verify immunization records. Educators need more information about the children experiencing homelessness in their schools and how the conditions of homelessness affect their ability to learn, socialize, and cope with everyday circumstances. Because of ongoing changes in school district personnel, there is a need for continuous education to further sensitize staff to the multiple aspects of the homelessness problem. School personnel must have a common understanding of the relationship between homelessness and the impact of risk factors on the child's education in order to begin the process of nurturing resiliency and building more effective classroom environments for all children. Teachers and other school personnel need to be encouraged to attend training on homelessness on a regular basis. Students and families experiencing homelessness may be reluctant to share information about their life situation. Parents may be embarrassed and fearful of reactions from school officials who may discover the family is homeless. With proper staff training, all families can be welcomed into schools and shelters in a respectful manner. Schools and shelters can therefore help families to overcome the temporary disruption in their lives.
One of the first steps in addressing this problem is to fully define and understand these students' unique circumstances from their perspectives. It's not just about helping these kids quote unquote manage. Public schools throughout every system, throughout every state in the country, must strive to deliver a high quality education to this population. In Ramona Hall's piece, Homeless Students and the Public School System, she focuses on the tragedy of the 2005 Hurricane Katrina and its devastating effect on an already struggling demographic. She states that around 370,000 school-aged children were displaced from their homes in the wake of the disaster, but goes on to say that the National Coalition for the Homeless indicates that approximately 1 million children experience homelessness in any given year, highlighting the scale of this issue. Many of these specific characteristics these students face massively impact the quality of their education. Irrational fears, such as the fear of dark or fear of strangers, are common. Behaviors such as aggression and suicide attempts often follow struggles like anxieties, low self-esteem, feelings of anger, embarrassment, and depression. This embarrassment is amplified in a world of social media, where fake signals of status flaunting are seen on apps such as Instagram. Furthermore, homeless school-aged children are much more susceptible to developmental delays, hyperactivity, hunger, and stress. To tackle aggression, social isolation, and lower self-esteem, a commonly used tactic is a buddy system. Alternatively, school counsellors should take more of an initiative to play a role in the lives of these unhoused students. Pairing kids of all ages with a child of a similar age will help provide a bit of stability that these students don't often get within their families. The same can be said for these counsellors. However, these counsellors will play a different kind of role to a buddy. We'll see that there will be more of a parental role rather than that of a buddy, which will help to integrate students into their social classes with their peers. Both are extremely useful in providing a level of stability that these students lack elsewhere, and will undoubtedly have resounding positive effects on the quality of their education and future career prospects.
What can teachers do to help? First, know the signs. Be familiar with common characteristics of students experiencing homelessness. This could include enrollment at multiple schools, lack of records, gaps in learning, and poor or inconsistent attendance. Another example of this would be poor hygiene, unmet medical needs, wearing the same clothes repeatedly. In addition, social and behavioral challenges such as extreme shyness, withdrawal or aggression, difficulty with peer and or adult relationships, or poor attention span. Finally, lack of participation in field trips and or after-school activities, lack of basic school supplies, and inability to complete special projects. Reach out to parents and caregivers. Because parents may not have regular access to a phone, create a communication plan. Send the family a welcome letter and or invite them to visit the classroom. You can also ask if younger siblings need support services. Make sure parents know their family rights. Stabilize basic needs and support full participation. Make healthy snacks and or hygiene supplies available. Ensure enrollment in the free meal program. Homeless students are automatically eligible for free meals and do not need to complete an application. Ensure that the student has every opportunity to participate in school activities. Give students a clipboard to use as a desk when they leave school. Be sensitive to asking students to bring things from home, such as classroom treats or art supplies. Make sure to have extras so all students can participate in celebrations or activities. Create a welcoming climate. Find time each week to check in with the student to assess unmet basic needs, offer encouragement, and recognize the child's talents and accomplishments. Pair new students with a buddy in the classroom or assign new students a job and encourage involvement in extracurricular activities. These personal relationships can be critical. Consider rethinking morning meetings or circle time, and instead of asking questions like, "How was your weekend?" ask questions like, "What are you looking forward to at school today?" Students who are in an unsafe or unstable housing may feel uncomfortable or afraid to share about their evening or weekend. Create shared experiences for all students. Instead of talking or writing about homes or neighborhoods, take students on walks around school or the playground so they can write or share about their common experience. Be sensitive to how families are discussed. Consider things like your grown-ups instead of your parents.
In this presentation, we talked all about how homeless students gained in education and the impact being homeless has on a student's education. The impact of homelessness involves inadequate parent response to child's needs, delays in academic and health records, lack of awareness in schools, and social stigma associated with homelessness. We also covered the McKinney-Vento Act, which is an act that provides rights and services to children and youth that are homeless and provides them with a reliable and safe education. We also covered the background and history of the act as well. Lastly, we went over what teachers can do to help homeless students gain an education. First, you can learn to recognize signs of homeless students. Next, you can create a welcoming environment for new students and stabilize basic needs and support full participation. The last thing you can do to help homeless students with education is reach out to the parents or caregivers. This can mean sending them an invite to the classroom or ask if the family needs support or any other services.